There's nothing quite like an Oscar nomination to make you feel good about your film. We're here at the International Documentary Association's celebration for the Oscar nominees. Let's talk to some filmmakers. I'm Tamara Krinsky, and I'm here with James Marsh, the director of the much-honored Man on Wire. This film has received so many accolades. How does it feel being nominated for an Oscar?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We have had a very successful year with the film, but this is something altogether different. Because of the nature of it and because of the company that you're thrust into, which is kind of, for me as a filmmaker, it's kind of funny, really. You don't ever expect, this is not really the world that you move in, and so you have to just enjoy it for what it is and not take it completely seriously, I think.
Well, speaking of being thrust into worlds, something that's wonderful about a night like tonight is that in addition to honoring all of the nominees, it celebrates documentary filmmaking as a whole, as a community.
That's true, and there's several of the directors that I know from previous events. I know Ellen really well now, and I know Carl a bit from Trouble the Water. That's really nice. It doesn't feel like a competition when you kind of like and respect both the people and the work that they've done. It feels like, well, whatever happens, happens. It's not in our hands. That just feels really nice. That there is, I think in documentaries much more so than in features, a kind of dialogue that takes place amongst people that I think makes us all better. And I made a feature film as well, and it was very different, the kind of vibe of that. And I really like the way that we tend to share information and feel like we're all part of the same world. That's good.
This film required a lot of collaboration, and you could say in a lot of ways it's about balance. How was it?
By definition, yeah.
How would you describe working with the team of people, working with Philipe, working with the others on your team?
Well, I think the most important thing was, proving to Philipe that I was the right person to make the film. I wasn't the first person to approach him to make a film, and so it's a story that obviously has defined his life in some way, and a story that it's a gift to a filmmaker. And I think he knew all that, and so that was a very important collaboration. And it wasn't always easy when you have two people who have very strong opinions. As a filmmaker, you have to have strong opinions about the form of what you're doing, and that was just really rewarding because in the end, we both, I think, were happy with the finished result. But also, of course, making any film, particularly a film like Man on Wire, which has quite elaborate reconstructions, you're working with quite a big group of people. But the most important people for me were really the editor on the film, Jinx Godfrey, who we really created the film in the cutting room. It has quite an elaborate structure. It has sort of flashbacks and overlapping timelines. And in a documentary, that's kind of really hard to do. You don't script it, you have to kind of find it. So she was a really important person in the finished product. But everyone who worked on the film, I think, gave it their all, because I think everyone really loved the story. It's a film and a story that I think really sort of captivated all our hearts working on it. It doesn't sound kind of stupid, but it's true. Maybe it does sound stupid, but it's true.
I don't think it sounds stupid at all. You use reconstruction so artfully in this film. What do you think is really the key to using reconstruction well in a documentary?
Well, I think there are sort of many different approaches to it, but for me it was actually making sure that they had their own dramatic objectives. So you can do reconstructions that are kind of illustrating something or sort of wallpaper for the film, or you can make a reconstruction very specific to a dramatic point in a story. And our reconstructions are all predicated on that notion of an objective that we're trying to show you being reached or thwarted. And also the other idea was to try and make them kind of light and kind of humorous in the way that the story was. And so they're not kind of like pieces of fake archive. They have their own sort of silent movie almost sensibility to them. So I think they have to be distinct. You have to kind of also do them with a great deal of conviction. And if you're going to do them, you have to do them well. Almost the worst thing in a documentary film is when they're done badly. It really is, and I've done them badly, so I know.
What was the most surprising thing for you about Philipe that you discovered along the way?
Where to start with that? That's a very interesting question. Well, we're such different people, and I still can't quite get my head around that first step that he took. That to me it feels like a step into a different realm. I think he describes it that way. And even now it makes me kind of wobble inside when I think about it. So that's still a mysterious thing. And it's not surprising, it's beyond that, it's mysterious. I still can't conceive of it, even though I've spent 2 years thinking about it and making a film built around that very moment. I'm James Marsh, I'm the director of Man on Wire, and this is the International Documentary Association.